See students, in this chapter so far we've discussed about the types of mixtures, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Now we have to also study now this part we have already studied, okay, mixtures and its type, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous. In that we have seen that what are the pure true solution, what is the colloidal solution, what is suspension. Now we have still not discussed pure substances, okay. So now let us begin with the pure substances. Now see, latter studies as per the Dalton's model. Now Dalton's model we have to study in the third chapter, okay. So Dalton told us that there are pure substances are made up of only one kind of substance only, so one kind of atom only. Now, all the atoms present in particular, like for example hydrogen, okay, all the atoms of hydrogens are same. So that according to Dalton, pure substances are made up of same atoms only. Later on the Dalton's concept got failed, okay. But for instance, let us consider the Dalton was correct, okay. Now see, according to the Dalton, or pure substances and mixtures, the pure substances and mixtures में अगर difference देखेंगे तो pure substances are the substances consist of single type of substances. For example, iron, copper, hydrogen, oxygen, water, sugar, common salt, they are all pure substances. They have same type of molecules in it. If you see all these examples, in that all the types of atoms are molecules are similar, molecules exist in them. But in mixture, the substance which consists of two or more than टू प्योर सब्सटेंसेस, अगर दो या दो से ज़्यादा प्योर सब्सटेंसेस का मिक्सचर अगर लेते हैं हम, तो उसको बोलते हैं हम मिक्सचर्स. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल सी वाटर इज़ अ मिक्सचर, मिनरल्स आर द मिक्सचर, सॉइल इज़ अ मिक्सचर, एयर इज़ द मिक्सचर, sand and salt is a mixture, sugar in water is the mixture, salt in water is also a mixture. So on the basis of that we have seen that types of mixtures, like mixtures के types है homogeneous and heterogeneous. But let us see that what is the difference between the homogeneous this pure substance and mixtures, because this is also asked in exam many times. The pure substance consists of, the first difference is pure substance consists of a single type of substance. This is consist of more than two or more than two types of substances. Then pure substances cannot be separated into other substances by physical methods. Chemical methods can use, but physical methods cannot separate the pure substance into more simpler forms. Pure substance has own definite property, mixture doesn't have own definite property, okay, because of the mixture. Then types of pure substances that we have not seen yet, okay. Types of pure substances में आता है metals and non-metals, okay. Elements first, which is very very important part, okay, on which entire chemistry is based. So elements, okay, so is a basic form of matter. What it is? It's a basic form of water or element, or basic form of matter which cannot be broken down into simpler substances. It's a basic form of matter. यानी कोई भी चीज़ हमारे आसपास में देखेंगे तो उसमें element है, okay. It is made up of different types of elements. So it's a basic form of matter which cannot be broken down into simpler substances by a chemical reactions. And elements are the three types. Elements are of three types. Three type के elements in Marathi it is called मूल द्रव्य, okay. मूल means fundamental, द्रव्य means substances, fundamental things, okay, which are called as elements. So these elements are classified into three main parts, that is metals, non-metals and metalloids. So metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals which are hard, I'll just for instance just take one property and try to identify differentiate them. Metals which are very hard, which are very ductile, malleable, conductors, okay. Opposite to that there is a non-metal, that is non-ductile, non-malleable, insulators. Then soft, okay, easily breakable, brittle, okay, they are the non-metals. And we have third category, that is metalloids. So metalloids are the elements which are showing the properties of metals as well as non-metals. Like for example silicon is also, arsenic is a metalloids, okay. Gallium is also metalloids. So these are the different types of metalloids which shows the properties of metal as well as non-metals. Now see properties of metals. Now there are few properties of metals which we can discuss here. They have a lustre. Lustre means shine, the metals have very very bright shine. If you just rub these metals with the sandpapers, you will find that they are having a excellent shine. So that property is called as lustre. They're malleable and ductile. Now what is these two words means? Malleable means they can be converted into thin sheets by hammering them. Even ductility also the shown by metals. That means ductility means, or ductile means, they can be converted into thin wires. So that is the reason that they are called as malleable and ductile. Next important property is they are good conductors of heat and electricity. You can carry the heat through them, that is metals, as well as the electricity also can be carried through the metals easily. Okay, then they are sonorous. Sonorous means they can make the metallic sound, means if you hit them, okay, like for example if you see the temple's bell, it creates the nad or na, that is called sonorous. That means ton, that is the sound is sonorous. That sound, production of sound by bell, this property is due to the sonorous. Okay, so as they are sonorous, this property can be, that's why metals are used in that, making this particular type of things like bells and all. Okay, then examples of metals are iron, aluminium, zinc, mercury, copper, silver, gold, sodium, potassium, you know, mercury. These are all metals only. Okay, these are all metals. They possess all those property which is mentioned above. Then properties of non-metals. Opposite to metals, all the properties of non-metals can be seen. They do not have luster. On the other hand, lusters are very important. Luster is very important property of metal. Then they are not malleable or ductile. They can be converted into thin wires as well as thin sheets. Okay, so non-ductile and non-malleable. Then they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They are not carrying the heat through them. They do not carry the electricity through them. Okay, there are exceptions are there, like graphite is there, which is exception for this point. Okay, which is conductor of electricity. Next property, they are not sonorous. They do not produce the metallic sound, so they are not sonorous. Examples are very common here: hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, iodine, carbon, sulphur, phosphorus. Na? These are all examples of, these are all the examples of non-metals only. Then properties of metalloids. Metalloids again a third category which either shows the properties of both metals as well as non-metals. Now see, metalloids are elements which shows the few properties of metal as well as few properties of non-metals, and that's why they are called as metalloids. Semi-metals, another word used for them is semi-metals. Okay, then next is example. Now boron, silicon, germanium. Okay, boron, silicon, germanium, these are the examples of metalloids. Okay, let us move to the another slide. Okay, and see the few important things related to metals. Metals are solids at room temperature except mercury. Except mercury, mercury which is used in the thermometer is the only metal found in the liquid state. Okay, and gallium is another metal which is found in liquid state. Okay, gallium when you keep on the palm, its melting point is less than your body temperature, and hence if you take that on your palm, it will start melting. So a question can be asked that how, or name the metal which melts on your palm. Okay, so it's a gallium. So mercury is also a liquid at room temperature, and hence it is used in making the thermometer also. So next point is metals have a crystal lattice, that is their atoms are closely packed. They are crystalline. Crystal lattice means their structure is crystalline, and as they are crystalline, their atoms are closely packed. The atomic arrangement, if you see, the atoms are very closely attached, and hence they are hard. Okay, so metals are hard. This is the reason that as the atoms are very closely packed, there is no gaps, so that makes the metals very very hard. That's why it is called strength. If you see, iron is a metal which is used in the building construction because of this property only, strength, that is hardness. Okay, it's a very hard. Metals have luster. Now luster means, as I told you, it's the shine of the metal is called as luster. Okay, so metals have luster. Then metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Now as these metals have free electrons. Okay, free electrons होते हैं metals के अंदर. So as the free electrons are there to carry the current can be easily passed to the metals. Then we have a good conductor of heat and electricity. You can see, because of the same property, copper utensils are used for cooking. Okay, then for heating water वगैरह है ना, these containers if you see they are all made up of metals only due to this property. Then metals are malleable. Malleable, as I told you, it's a property of getting converted into small thin sheets. And then ductile means converting wire. If you see the gold, very very thin wires can be drawn out of gold. So any other metal if you see, they can be converted into thin wires, except sodium, potassium, calcium. They cannot be converted into thin sheet because they are soft metals. They are the exceptions. Then metals are sonorous. They produce a ringing sound. Okay, that's why they are called sonorous. Then metals have high melting and boiling points, as they are very hard, closely packed atomic structure, and that's why they are called. They are having very very high melting and boiling points. Okay. Then non-metals. Let us go to the non-metals. Non-metals are either gases or solid at room temperature. Now see, non-metal can exist in gaseous and liquid state as well as solid state also. See the gases which are liquid, non-metal which are liquid state, that is a bromine. Bromine is the only non-metal found in the liquid state. Keep in mind, bromine is the only non-metal found in the liquid state. Then there are some of them which are solid, that is sulphur is solid. Okay, that is powdered hota hai. So these are the solids, as well as gases, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. They are all in the form of the non-metal generally have dull surface. Okay, dull surface is there. Okay, now dull means not shiny, lustrous nahi hota hai. Okay, non-metals are not lustrous. Non-metals are mostly poor conductor of heat and electricity. Exception, there is exception called graphite, which is one of the form of carbon that can carry current. Okay, but not the heat. Non-metals are quite soft instead of hard. These metals are very hard, and on the other hand, non-metals are very soft. They are quite soft. Non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile in nature. Malleability and ductility is not possessed by non-metals, so they are not used in making these thin sheets and wires. Then we have another point, that is metals. Non-metals are not non-sonorous, means the ringing sound is not produced by them. Then non-metals have low melting and boiling points. As they are soft, the melting points and boiling points is low. Okay, so this is about the metals and non-metals. Now compounds. This is another type of pure substances which is also coming under the pure substance. Pure substance are two types, that is, one is elements and other is compounds. Okay, so what is compounds? Compounds are the pure substances containing two or more than two elements which are combined together in a fixed proportion by mass. कोई भी एक आधा कंपाउंड अगर है तो उसके अंदर different types of elements involved होते हैं. If the different types of elements are combined in a fixed ratio or fixed proportion, then the new compound is formed. Now if you see, this is the H2O molecule. Okay, H2O molecule का formation here shown. Then types of compounds are inorganic and organic compounds. Inorganic compounds are obtained from the non-living sources such as rock and minerals like common salt, carbon dioxide, ammonia. These are the types of acids, inorganic compound. Common salt, NaCl, is the inorganic compound. Carbon dioxide is again inorganic compound. Ammonia is again inorganic compound, because the material like elements like nitrogen, carbon, sodium, they are not from the plants and animals. Okay, so organic compounds obtained from the living beings such as plants and animals, for example methane, ethane, alcohol, sugar, all of them having carbon. So carbon compounds are called as organic compounds. Okay, characteristics of compounds, like elements have a characteristics, compounds also have a different characteristics. Now pure compound is composed of same elements combined in a fixed ratio by mass. Any pure substance, अगर any pure compound अगर लेंगे हम, तो उसमें सेम एलिमेंट्स कंबाइन हो सकते हैं फिक्स्ड रेशो बाय मास की वजह से. अदरवाइज दे नॉट एबल टू कंबाइन इन एनी रेशो में वगैरह में वो कंबाइन नहीं होंगे. ओके, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कॉल्ड, इट इज़ मेंशन हियर दैट फिक्स्ड रेशो बाय मास होना चाहिए. ओके, फिक्स्ड रेशो बाय मास. इन 9th standard we will study that what is the fixed ratio by mass and all. Okay, then pure compounds is a homogeneous in nature. Pure compound जो होता है, any pure compound if you take, it's a homogeneous. Okay, in nature they're very clear to see and there is no mixture in it. Okay, it is formed as a result of chemical reaction between the constituent elements. रिएक्शन होने के बाद एलिमेंट्स के बीच में ये फॉर्म होता है. ओके, लास्ट में characteristics of compounds, few more characteristics. Properties of compounds are altogether different from the elements from which it is formed. The properties of the compounds are totally different than from which material it is prepared. For example, I'll give you a very very simple example. We have a oxygen and we have also carbon. Now if you see the properties of this oxygen and carbon, oxygen supports the burning, carbon used yes, as a fuel, means both of them are supportive for the burning process, but on the reaction it will form CO2, and if you see the CO2 is used in the fire extinguisher. So this individually, if you see, they are used as a fuel, but CO2 formed from the combination of these two is a unable to help them out. So this is how the next property is. Constituents of the compounds cannot be separated by mechanically. Constituent of the compounds cannot be separated by mechanically. Mechanically means manually we cannot. Formation of compound involves energy change. Means whenever a compound is formed, energy either will be absorbed or will be produced. Then mixtures, a combination of two or more than two substances which are physically mixed and are not chemically combined with each other, and they may also be present in the any proportion. So mixture में कोई fixed proportion की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Okay, salt water or chocolate milk. Okay, any ratio में you can mix the salt in the water, there is no harm. Okay, so this is the types of mixture, difference between the mixture and compound. Also, if you want to see it, you can pause the video and note it down. Okay, it is mixtures are composed of two or more elements or compounds. The compounds are composed of two or more than two elements chemically. Okay, so this is the difference, first difference. Second difference, you see the composition of the constituent is not fixed in the ratio in the mixtures, but here the composition of the instrument is fixed. Then it shows the properties of all the constituents. मिक्सचर के अंदर जितने भी कंस्टिट्यूएंट है, जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल यूर आपका यही ले सकते हैं आप एग्जांपल भत्ता, या जो आपका चिवड़ा होता है, फरसान होता है घर पे. इफ़ यू सी इन दैट different types of things are ingredients are mixed, so all of them they show their own properties. So here also it shows the और mixture at home जो बनाते हैं mixture खाने के लिए, it shows the property of all the constituent. mixture में जो अलग अलग चीज़ें होती है सबकी अलग अलग टेस्ट होती है. okay, so it shows the properties of all the constituents. okay, but in the compounds it shows the different properties of that than the constituent elements. कंस्टिट्यूएंट एलिमेंट की प्रॉपर्टी अलग होती है, जो बनने के बाद जो कंपाउंड बनता है उसकी प्रॉपर्टी अलग होती है. द कंपाउंड्स, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज कंपोनेंट्स कैन बी सेपरेटेड बाय फिजिकल मेथड्स. मिक्सचर के कंपोनेंट्स यू कैन सेपरेट बाय फिजिकल मेथड, बट इन कंपाउंड्स द कंपोनेंट्स कैन नॉट बी सेपरेटेड ओनली बाय केमिकल मेथड्स. तो दीज आर द डिफरेंट important points. Now we have seen already true solution क्या होता है, उसको बनाने का तरीका क्या होता है. Then saturated solution also you have studied. We have seen also how to make a saturated solution. We have seen these formulas also. Concentration of the solution के लिए क्या formula है. Then mass percent, the centrifugation of the solution can be expressed as mass by mass percentage as the mass by volume percentage. Okay, so mass by volume percentage of acid solution. I think here this is the formula. Okay, mass by volume percentage of the solution is volume of solution into 100. okay, so this is colloidal solution, Tyndall effect. okay, we have already studied suspension, we have already studied these topics. okay, and then we'll difference between suspension and colloidal solution mein this chart we will study tomorrow. okay, but let us see a few of these points. Difference between the suspension and colloidal solution. The particle size, as I told you, suspension is greater than 100 nanometer, colloidal solution 1 to 100 nanometer, and solution is less than 1 nanometer. okay, it's have become is 100, but less than 1 nanometer की जो size होती है वो किसकी होती है, solution, that is true solution की होती है. okay, so remaining points we will study in the next period. That's all.